Shalom. First one give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahawashi.
Shalom,
Yahweh,
shalom.
the Heavenly Father. First one give
Yahawashi,
the Son of the living power, the Messiah, which these are the true names.
Father of the Most High
Yahawashi
God,
is the Son and the
of the
Son.
living power, which these are the true names of the Most High God and the Son.
Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahawashi. Which the title of this lesson is going to be the love of the church to Yahawashi. Right, because ultimately, right, Yahawashi loved us. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahawashi loved us first. Right, Yahweh sent his only begotten Son to give his life for a ransom for many. Yahweh had his Son, Yahawashi, get bruised for our iniquities. That's ultimate love. To have your Son to lay down his life for ungodly people, to save ungodly people, and to lay down your life, to be willing to lay down your life for ungodly people. In fact, I'm going to start off with the book of Romans real quick. Let me go there real quick. So Yahawashi laid down his life to save an ungodly and haughty people, man. Ignorant people, man. Let's go to the book of Romans. Chapter 5, verse 7. Matter of fact, verse 6. It says, "For when we were yet without strength, in due time, Yahawashi died for the ungodly." Yeah, and Yahawashi, he suffered many things for us. Right, Yahawashi was humiliated. Right, he was smacked, hit, mocked, laughed at, whipped, slew upon a tree, upon a cross. Which, when you go into the science of when you go into being hung on a cross, when you go into the whole science of it, it'll tell you that you won't be able to breathe. You know, it's very difficult to breathe when you are on a cross like that. Right, so Yahawashi, he suffered many things. Right, when Yahawashi was on the cross, he could read, or he could count the bones of his ribs. They tell you that in the book of Psalms. To have your hands pierced and your feet pierced. You know? And yeah, when the people gave when the people gave Yahawashi drink to when he was on the cross, he didn't take it. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the drink that they gave him was vinegar or some type of wine or something. Or some type of vinegar or some type of drink and myrrh or something that could that will be a remedy for the pain, or that will loose a man from certain pains. But he didn't take it. It speaks about Yahawashi spitting it out. Now, I'm not going to get the actual account, but just to show you how Yahawashi, he laid down his life for us. It says, verse 7, it says, "For scarcely for a righteous man will one die." So a man, people would even lay down life for a righteous man. How much more for an ungodly man, for a foolish man, for a simple man? It says, "Yet peradventure For a good man, some would even dare to die. It says, verse 8, it says, but the Most High commendeth his love toward us, in that while we were yet sinners, yahawashi, or Mashiach, died for us. Which, if I'm not mistaken, the word Mashiach means the Messiah. It says, verse 9, it says, much more then, being now justified by his blood, we shall be saved from wrath through him. Yeah, that's why John, talking about John told some of the men that came to his baptism, who have warned you to flee from the wrath to come. No, there's wrath coming, man. And all who don't believe in yahawashi will die and will be devoured by that wrath. When vengeance passeth by, it shall not pass by you, but it shall attack you. All you that that don't believe in yahawashi. It says, much more than being now justified by his blood, we shall be saved from wrath through him. And yeah, who's going to be saved from wrath through yahawashi? The elect are. Why? Because the elect, they're going to sincerely believe in yahawashi, in that light, in that life, in his word, in the truth. And they shall show their faithfulness. And the just, the elect, shall live by their faith. By faith. The elect shall live by faith. It says, verse 10, it says, for if when we were enemies, we were enemies, right? We were, our works were somewhat adverse or opposite of the right way, from the right way, right? So our works were, in a world before we started believing, we were wicked. We were transgressing the laws. We were trespassing. Right? Our mouth was unclean. Our deeds was wicked, perverse. Our heart was wicked. We wasn't mindful of the Lord, so we were enemies. It says, and if when we were enemies, we were reconciled to the Most High by the death of his Son. But thanks to yahawashi, we were reconciled. Thanks to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi, we are able to receive this ministry of reconciliation, this truth, this word of reconciliation, which is able to bring us back into the goodness of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi. It says, for if when we were enemies, we were reconciled to the Most High by the death of his Son, much more being reconciled, we shall be saved by his life. It says, and not only so, but we also joy in the Most High through our Lord yahawashi Mashiach, by whom we have now received the atonement. So and I always like to say this. I always say this too. I said this before. That yahawashi, he's the ultimate peacemaker. Yahawashi even said, "Blessed are the peacemakers," right? Which is ultimately talking about the preachers, the prophets, the teachers that preach the gospel of peace, right? But yahawashi himself was a peacemaker, the ultimate one, right? He gave his life for us. He laid down his life for us. Right, so going to the book of St. John, right? St. John, chapter 15, verse Salakia. St. John chapter 15 verse 12. It says, "This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you." You know, and that's a commandment. That's a commandment, you know, that was given to us of old. You know, love thy neighbor as thy love thyself. You know, loosely paraphrasing. Even to love our enemies. Right, it says, verse 13, it says, "Greater love have no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends." Right, so there's no greater love than that. No greater love than this, that a man, laid down his life for his friends. And yahawashi did that. Yahawashi, he laid down his life for us, for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. You know, yahawashi, he was bruised for our iniquity. Yahawashi was led like a sheep being led to the slaughter for us, and he willingly went on with it. He willingly took up that role and that duty, which should tell you that yahawashi, he wanted to do this. He wanted to lay down his life, and he understand. He been, when he was in the heavens, yahawashi understood the difficulties that he had to face, that he would face when he came into his own. Or if he came to his own, right? Which when I say his own, I'm talking about Israel. Yahawashi, he came onto his own, Israel, but his own, Israel, received him not. No. Verse 13, it says, "Greater love have no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends." And we ought to do the same as well. Right? We have to be like-minded. Yahawashi laid down his life for us. We ought to lay down our life for him. And in these last days, we're going to have to suffer a great tribulation. A lot of us are going to have to suffer persecution. You know? A lot of the brothers and sisters that's in his faith, a lot of us is going to have to get beheaded, decapitated, which is prophesied in the book of Revelation, chapter 20. It says, "Greater love have no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends." Which I actually have a precept. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Let's see real quick. Let's see, man. No, it speaks about no, I'm gonna just talk about the scripture. I don't know where it's at, but I'm gonna just talk about it, loosely paraphrasing. It speaks about, the servant is not greater than his master. If they have persecuted the master, then they will persecute the servant as well. Right? And we're the servants, which we are also called friends. Right? But we're the servants. And yahawashi is our king, our master, our Lord. And yahawashi is greater than us. And they have persecuted yahawashi. So they will also persecute us as well. No, but there is prophesied that there will be some believers in this truth that shall never taste of death. And that's the lot of theirs. And then Lord willing, I never taste of death. But if it's the Lord's will that I get persecuted, then so be it. Thy will be done. Right, but continue on. And what I was speaking about, there has to be a persecution here in these last days. In fact, let's just get this real quick. Let's go to the book of Revelation. Revelation chapter 18, verse 24. It says, and in her, Salaki, verse 24. It says, and in her was found the blood of the prophets. Salaki, let's read it again. Revelation chapter 18, verse 24. It says, and in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that were slain upon the earth. Now that's talking about, who's that her? It's talking about America, Babylon the Great, which is America, USA. Now, so in America shall be found the blood of the prophets and the blood of the saints. And that's a prophecy, which prophecy means to say before. So it shall come to pass, it shall come, the time shall come when Esau, the snake shall, or the dragon shall make war against the saints, against the prophets in this land, and shall behead them, which is prophesied in the book of Revelation chapter 20, verse 4. I'm ready to get it right now. Revelation chapter 20, verse 4 says, and I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of yahawashi. So it is prophesied that there will be those that believe in yahawashi. There's going to be those believers that shall be decapitated, beheaded. If you don't know what beheading means or decapitation means, meaning a member of your body being cut off. Beheading is when your head get cut off. Now, it's been recorded that there's guillotines set up. There's guillotines already in their possession, in a possession of the government, in a possession of the elites. And they're going to use these guillotines, these machines, or these tools of decapitation. Right, so continue on, it says, and I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of yahawashi and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they live and reign with Mashiach 1,000 years. Now, if you don't know about the MOTB, read it in the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 16 on down to verse 18, and you'll know what it'll tell you about the MOTB, the mark. Now, this MOTB is a chip implant that's already made, that's already been created, but it's gonna come a time when they shall mandate it. When they gonna cause rich and poor, free and bond to receive this MOTB, this mark. Now, if you receive this mark, this MOTB, you are destined for destruction. But all of those that don't receive the MOTB, the mark, shall face persecution, shall face adversity. You know, it's gonna come a time when they're gonna behead many that refuse to take the MOTB. You know, let's get another precept real quick. Let's get Revelation chapter 2, verse 10. It says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison." Now, when it's talking about the devil, it's talking about the Idumeans, the so-called white man, right? And the elites. They're going to cast some of these citizens in America and a lot of the believers into a concentration camp or in a prison camp. Now, if you don't know about martial law, look into it. Look into concentration camps and look into the Holocaust, because the Holocaust give you some insight on the things that shall take place here in these latter days. It says, "Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried." So a lot of the believers are going to be put in concentration camps or prison camps, and they're going to be tested or tried or proved. And that trial, that test is going to probably be the MOTB is going to be part of that test. And you either take the MOTB, the chip, the implant, or you die. That may be the test, but who knows? No. It says, "Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death." Now, this is the words of yahawashi to us, to the believers, to the churches. It says, "Be thou faithful unto death." So we come across this persecution, this test. We have to be faithful unto death. We have to hold firm unto that which is good. We have to refuse the MOTB, etc. It says, "Be thou faithful unto death." What it means to be faithful unto death, meaning what? To be a martyr, right? To die for your religion. Now, this is a pure ceremonial observance. We have a pure religion, not like the religion of the world, but we die for something that is true. And we die for the truth. Now, who's the truth? Yahawashi. We lay down our life, or we're willing to lay down our life for the truth. Yahawashi. It says, "Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life." So if you are faithful to death, then you will receive a crown of life. Verse 11, it says, "He that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death." So if you overcome this world, if you overcome persecution, if you overcome certain things, you shall not be hurt of the second death. And if you overcome the evil one, which is the so-called dragon, the so-called Idumeans, the white man, if you overcome them, then you will not be hurt of the second death. Now, what is the second death? It is the lake of fire. The second death is the lake of fire, which shall be caused. The lake of fire is going to be caused, or it's going to be here in America. And one of the things that's going to cause that lake of fire is those nukes, those missiles that shall be shot over here in America. It says, verse 12, it says, "And to the angel of the church in Pergamos, write, these things saith he which hath the sharp sword with two edges." edges, Salaki. Verse 13 it says, I know thy works and where thou dwellest, even where Satan's seat is. So Yahawashi, and this is the sayings of Yahawashi. Yahawashi know our works. It says, verse 13, it says, I know thy works. It says, I know thy works and where thou dwellest, even where Satan's seat is. And Yahawashi, he know where Satan's seat is. Right? And it's when you go into the Satan's seat, it's an actual place. I think they got it in a museum, But continue reading. It says, and thou holdest fast my name. Now this is talking about Antipas. I think I'm saying his name right, but Antipas was a believer. Antipas was a believer and a martyr that believed in Yahawashi, and he was faithful to death. And this is somewhat encouragement. The actions of Antipas is encouragement to us, if you will. But continuing reading says, and thou holdest fast my name and hast not denied my faith, even in those days wherein Antipas was my faithful martyr, who was slain among you, were Satan dwelling. Now, if I'm I refrain from what I said. When it says, and thou holdest fast my name, it was just talking about the apostles, the believers, right? Not, particularly Antipas, right? But let's read it again. It says, I know thy works and where thou dwellest, even where Satan's seat is, and thou holdest fast my name. And that's what we gotta do. We have to hold fast the name of Yahawashi. It tell you that the elect, they stand stiffly for the name. It says, and has not denied my faith. So we gotta continue in the faith. We have to endure in the faith. Right? Because if you deny the faith, if you don't overcome, amen, you're gonna you may taste of that death, that second death. It says, even in those days wherein Antipas was my faithful martyr, who was slain among you where Satan dwelleth. So Antipas was a faithful martyr that was slain. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Antipas was slain in a grievous fashion. Now, if I'm not mistaken, they burnt or the body of Antipas, whether it was by a brazen bull or being inside in a brazen bull or in hot water or oil or something like that. And that's just to show you those Romans, man. Those Romans are freaking draconian, man. And that's the same vibration on America, and on the EU, and on NATO, and on Russia. They're draconian, meaning they are harsh. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with being harsh, but they are somewhat barbaric. They are murderers. They love the sight of blood, if you will. They love blood. Which Esau, you ain't gonna get away with your crimes, man. For so long you have been unpunished, but it's gonna come a time when you will be punished for your crimes against the so-called Black, Latino, and Native Indians. Right, Esau, you touched the apple of the or you went against the apple of the Lord's eye. Slavery and all that. What you did to the Native Indians, the Gadites. What you did to the Latinos. I mean, to the Hispanics, the Mexicans. All those hangings you did. And that's, that's a portion. That's a small portion of what you did in history. what you did during 70 AD, which that's ultimately was judgment. All that was judgment, punishment for Jake, you know. But going to the book of Song of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 6. Song of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 6. It says, set me as... Now, when you go into the book of Song of Solomon, it has a poetic nature to it. It's a spiritual book, a very holy book in the Bible. Now, when you go into the book of Song of Songs or Song of Solomon, it's concerning the church and yahawashi, the bride and the bridegroom, right? Symbolically speaking. Now, Song of Songs or Song of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 6. It says, set me as a seal upon thine heart, as a seal upon thine arm. For love is strong as death. So it says for love, and when you go into the title of this of these scriptures, it says the vehemency of love, right? The strength of love, right? It says for love is strong as death, and it is, right? Because if you really love somebody, you're willing to lay down your life for somebody. That's how strong it is. It says, jealousy is cruel as the grave. The coals thereof are coals of fire, which have a most vehement flame. Now, if I'm not mistaken, jealousy, or the word zeal, or being zealous, not zealous, I think zealous goes into the word jealous, right? Because we're zealous, man. We're willing to lay down our life for yahawashi. We're willing to oppose all that oppose yahawashi. You know, just like soldiers are zealous for his king. You know, it says jealousy is cruel as the grave. The coals thereof are coals of fire, which have a most vehement flame. So love is, strong, man. It has a vehement, love is a vehement, strong flame. It's like coals of fire, man, that shall never go out. And it tell you in the book of, I think in the book of St. John, not St. John, but 1 John, love never faileth. Now, may get that. Verse 7, it says, many waters cannot quench love. Now, when you go into it, many waters, or the saying many waters, it is sometimes symbolic for, sometimes it is sometimes symbolic for adversity, tribulation, distress, persecution. So for symbolically speaking, many waters overthrow us. Just saying it for no reason, using an example, right? Many waters overthrew us. Meaning what? Adversity overthrew us, tribulation overthrew us. So that's understanding on the word. Sometimes on the word many waters. It says, verse 7, it says, many waters cannot quench love. So tribulation, adversity is not going to separate us from the love of yahawashi. We will be faithful unto death. It says, neither can the floods drown it. So the sword of men, the guns of men, the guillotines cannot separate us from our love. No, it says, if a man would give all the substance of his house for love, it will be utterly contemned. No, so tribulation is not going to separate us from love, man. In fact, let's go to the book of St. John. Not St. John, but 1 John. Maybe in 2 Timothy. Second Timothy. Let's just get Romans real quick. I'm going to close off from this. Romans chapter 8. Romans chapter 8, verse 31. It says, what shall we then say to these things? For if God be for us, who can be against us? So if the Most High be for us, be our helper, then who can be against us? It says, verse 32, it says, he that spared not his own son, but delivered him up for us all, how shall he not with him also freely give us all things? Who shall lay anything to the charge of God's elect? It is God that justifieth. So ultimately, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi have justified and is justifying the elect. And no one can try to condemn the elect at the end of the day. It says, verse 34, it says, who is he that condemneth? It is Mashiach that died, yea, rather that is risen again. Who is he? It says, who is even at the right hand of God, who also maketh intercession for us. Verse 35, it says, who shall separate us from the love of Mashiach? Shall tribulation, or distress, or persecution, or famine, or nakedness, or peril, or sword? And yeah, we are going to suffer perilous times. We are going to, we're coming into perilous days, man. We're about to come into the great tribulation. We're about to come. Famine is coming. Lack of food, scarcity of food is coming. Persecution is coming. The sword is coming upon the lands of this country, man. It says, verse 36, it says, as it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are accounted as sheep for the slaughter. Nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. So we are more than conquerors, right? Because ultimately we serve a power, we serve a God, the Most High God, that created heaven and earth. Right? Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahawashi has complete authority and power over everything. And I like to say this, Yahweh, he's the ultimate author and workmaster. Yahweh is the ultimate author. Why? Because everything is going to go according to his plan. Right? There's a drama, if you will, written in reality. Right? Yahweh's will shall be done. Just like a author of a book chooseth what direction he want the plot to go in the book. So Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahawashi controls everything, if you will. At the end of the day, it says, nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. For I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor death, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of the Most High, which is in Mashiach Yahawashi, our Lord. So, and touch on this, talking about this last thing, our chief adversary is going to try to separate us from the love of Yahawashi. But it's not going to work. But I'm going to close off on that. Lord willing, this video is edifying. Double honors to the elder apostles of great millstones. Peace and blessings unto the elect. Salute and shalom to the fellow laborers in this truth. And all praises, honor, and glory be to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahawashi. Shalom.